So, 1980s. You were saying there's some history. And I'm a massive nerd, so go ahead.
Back in the 80s, there were no laws initially on the books for, the rental history at Blockbuster, okay? There were no laws saying that, this is private information. Oh, hang on, hang on. I've still got a bunch of furnaces. I'm still engineering it. So there was there were no laws regarding, your rental history, and a reporter went out and dug up all the necessary and dug up the rental histories of congressmen. And
that they started paying
attention. It was only after that incident that that Congress actually passed a law saying that your video rental history was private information. Okay, and I it kind of speaks to the fact that a very truth. A big truth, and it's the fact that we don't have rules because someone thought they were a great idea. We have rules because someone did something that someone else really didn't like.
Yeah, rules are a reactive element.
Yeah, rules are very reactive. So it's like, we have the telecommunication companies have to, they have to, keep those phone lines up.
Screwed up.
Because at some point in history, someone somewhere, there was some sort of power outage and people couldn't communicate with each other. Like, that is unquestionably what happened. It was like, yeah, phone lines are down, lots of people died. Whoops. You, that is without a question what ended up happening at some point. It was just like, my bad, my mistake. I mean, it's like, it was like, there's some crazy things that have happened in history where it was like, these are dumb rules, why do we have these rules? And then you find out about these bizarre weather. It's like the clean, some rules about like having clean air and whatnot, and how much a factory in a city can pollute, because I don't remember where it was, but there was at one point a city that was kind of built in a basin, and it was so polluted, the city, that one day, whenever there was heavy cloud cover, it basically shoved all of the smog down into the city, displacing all of the air.
Non-zero people.
Thousands of people, well, not thousands, hundreds of people suffocated. Hundreds of people in the city suffocated because there was no air. And it was like, yeah, guys, we're gonna have to, and it's a very bizarre and very uncommon weather effect too. What ended up occurring there?
I think this is working. Oh, there's like 2 outs that you missed here.
Okay then, so we're looking pretty good here.
And 2 at the top.
Oh, my bad.
There.
My mistake.
Now it's all working. That would have been awkward, just having 4 steel furnaces full of steel.
Okay, so that's tons and... Yes. So we've got a total of 12 steel furnaces, which means that we're actually doing a higher production run of steel now than we are of iron.
We do seem to be doing pretty well for getting the iron out. The exception being this lone furnace at the end, which is just getting buffered.
Well, I mean, I think it's perfectly fine for some furnaces to be completely inactive, because that means that we are meeting demand, basically. As long as we're meeting demand, there's nothing to be complaining about, where it's like, well, this one furnace isn't working, and it's like, yeah, but that's the first one that's gonna stop working whenever we start backing up. And if the system is backing up, then...
Yeah. The four of them are doing the work, but they're doing it a little bit on the slow side of things.
I've got enough to build 7 of them.
Let me see, I'll just craft up 3.
Well,
Yeah, that's the problem with that. That I think is like the main impetus in this game. You can craft basically everything in your inventory, but you can't craft anything until one particular job is done.
Yeah. There are a few things that you can't craft in your inventory, though, like the rocket. You also can't craft, like, an engine in your inventory. You have to do that in a machine as well. Building machine.
Can you just imagine, though, you crash land on an alien world, you have nothing to your name, but you're still apparently so lazy that instead of just crafting all this stuff to get into space and whatnot, you still go through the process of making a huge industrial complex. We are the laziest spacemen ever.
I think we could stand to... I wouldn't say that we're lazy. I say that it's accepting the limitations of what humans can do, and thus making use of the one thing that we've got.
Although you say
brain.
that, but we apparently developed space travel, but we haven't fixed pollution.
You know, I think that's a situation where you end up with a muddled scenario of, which boils down to a question of, do I care more about...
Well, there was a space probe recently that... It was running on an RNG, which is basically a nuclear reactor. And they just stick them onto space probes because they will last for 50 plus years, no problem. But it was monitoring, I think it was Saturn's moons, or maybe Jupiter's, I forget exactly which one. One of the gas giants.
It was the one that had Titan. I don't remember which planet has Titan.
Yeah, I think Titan is Saturn, because Neptune is named for all of Neptune's wives in mythology. But, basically, this probe had run its course, but it still had plenty of fuel on it, and there was worry that the planet that it could potentially crash into, one of the moons, would potentially host life. And that by doing so, they might cause a big problem.
Oh, so that... Because I was hearing a report about this the other day, and I didn't know why on earth they were so concerned. It was like, it like solar panels and stuff on a thing. Why are you worried? Like, that's what I thought. It was like, solar panels.
It was launched in '97, so...
Yeah, okay, so it's a very... Okay, so it's a relatively old version of,
So, they decided that they would basically have it intentionally fall into the gas giant, rather than crash land on one of these moons and potentially render them uninhabitable for anything, let alone us. And they did what I think might be the most poetic thing possible when they did this, which was that they had it, whilst it was plummeting into the atmosphere and getting all of this sensor data on what's going on and what's in the atmosphere and all sorts, they had it use all of its remaining RCS fuel to try desperately to keep its antenna pointed at Earth.
Oh yeah, so that it could still send information while it's going down.
Exactly. And that to me really speaks to the sort of the sort of underrated beauty of all of these space probes that we send out. Like, this thing is falling into the abyss to its death, but it's still trying to send us information that it's been sending us for decades. Space probes are like the most loyal device I think could be imagined. It's beautiful.
Well, when the Matrix comes about, now you know why it's... now you know the first thing that they're gonna cite.
Well, at least I can cite this video as, please don't liquidate me just yet. Please don't hurt me, I'm a nice human.
Whatever you say. Sure.
Hey, you're the one building a wall. And bullets.
Speaking of which, how's the, oh, hey, check it out! we finished.
Hey, solar! Hooray!
Yay! Finally! It's taken long enough. Do we have a coal chest around here that's
Yes, we do. It is by where the old coal line went.
Alright, I really hate to do this, Lying, but we gotta fire up another row of frickin' generators now.
Oh god. I'll man the wall.
That wall is desperately incomplete as well, so...
Well, it should hopefully be complete enough. If we're lucky, they're not smart aliens. They're not sapient.
I think you're leaving a little bit too much to fate there. If we're lucky, I don't know that we're lucky, man.
You're right. We crash landed on an alien planet. We're definitely not that lucky.
So I'm gonna go ahead and build some more walls. It's not gonna be a whole lot.
Is there a gate on the research line? Because I'm having to run the whole way around to get out
There
here.
is a gate somewhere on the research tree. I don't remember where it is.
So we're just entombing ourselves, basically.
Okay, so let's look at finished research. Walls, stone walls. Gates. Yeah, it's literally the next thing. 100 red and 100 green. Gates. If you go down to the bottom and you look for walls...
Yeah, I can see it. But it also requires military too.
What's military too?
Which isn't much, actually, and that will get us grenades.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that then. We don't want to
that's not gonna take
leap
long.
too far up the science tree without getting that far up the military tree. Oh, check it out. The Wii U is like squeaking at me because it wants me to buy more of Nintendo's products. There we go. Okay.
Play more Breath of the Wild, collect more disposable clubs.
I am very close to actually finishing off Breath of the Wild. Oh my god, that was fast.
Oh yeah.
Holy balls. Okay, well I'm gonna go ahead and research gates next.
Ooh. Combat robotics. Okay, our neighbors up on the top right are looking worse.
Are they?
Hit the map.
They're looking kind of big. I can't help but notice this very, very large red gloom that's starting to rise over our base as well.
Yeah. Around... I think that's... Is that the mining area? The iron mining that's gone with the deepest red, I think?
No.
I think it is. It's right above coal.
It's not the iron mining. It's specifically the smelting area. Pretty sure it's the smelting area. Yeah, it's the smelt.
It's encompassing the entirety
It's encompassing
of the mining.
like. Well, I mean, the mining is right between two separate smelting operations.
True, yeah. If we spread them out, maybe they won't notice as much.
Or maybe we'll just have more ground we have to protect.
Well, you're building a pretty freaking big wall, dude. We've got room.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the idea. We still have to be able to get a depot in here because we do not have the oil. We do not have the oil to get this job done. Do we wanna look at actually what does it take to produce solar panels? Electric circuits and copper and steel. Okay, cool. What did the circuits?
Well, we're manufacturing all that. I mean, we are currently definitely quite backed up on the electric circuits. Actually, I could make these faster by upgrading them.
Upgrading what?
Well, they're currently assembling machine 1s. If I turn them into 2s, they'll work faster.
Do the version 2s move faster? I thought that version 2s just had more slots.
No, they do work a bit faster, because there's crafting speed if you hover over them, and it's 0.5 on the 1s and 0.75 on the 2s. Presumably it's 0.1 on the 3s, but we don't have that yet.
Okay then, I'll just take your word for it.